So, everybody give Micro a wave goodbye because now we're going to start going to the SCMM and we are going to start discussing the skins back there.
Well, did you? We do have two other concepts we could address here, and that was the Berserker cloak thing that we.
Oh, God.
About. And then there's the upcoming armor sets that are the only ones that exist.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
But that's up to you if you.
I want to do I want to do the armor one. Can we do the armor one now then?
Okay.
Because what might we call this, Mr. Micro? An armor and clothing drought?
Drought?
Yeah.
Dry spell.
It's so hot. No, drought as in we have hardly any. Recently, we've been talking for the past 2 or 3 weeks how we've been getting a lot less new armor and clothing pieces, new collections to look out for and be invested towards. So, all that we have recently, what is this you're wearing over here, Mr. Micro?
Well, this is the outlaw set. We've been showing this all afternoon.
Oh, I thought you were trying to show off a new set.
No, but well, I will because this is sort of this brown, sort of earthy tone, and I don't know what the rest of the armor set or clothing set will look like, but I found this to be rather an interesting set. I mean, as we mentioned, there's very few or almost no clothing or armor sets that I've seen over the past few weeks.
Let me just turn the lights on.
We're gonna have to pick and choose from what's available.
Indeed, we are.
Right?
So this is all we found, is what we're trying to say. We haven't seen that many submissions for armor and clothing. It's becoming a problem. Now, just to reiterate, he's using that clothing just because he thought it matched up with the armor. The armor is the thing we're focusing. So what's this called? Royal armor?
Royal, yep.
Yeah. So this isn't going to be a video for throughout the rest of the year, but it's more about right now. We are not seeing any armor or clothing skins appear, and it is becoming more of a problem. I mean, what was it, last week? We only had a pair of gloves being accepted to the Rust store. This week, we've had 2 collections being accepted, which technically is a problem because we've now finished off low poly, most of low poly, but like, there's going to be probably a week or 2 during this month where we're probably not going to have any armor or clothing skins to show off because they probably won't be accepted. If this is the only option we have, I mean, first of all, it is a fairly nice looking armor piece, so I do approve of it. But does Face Punch approve of so much gold on armor and clothing? That's a whole nother thing. But do we have any tier 2? We did have that Ares set from last week, didn't we? I don't think you have it on hand.
That's true. We had the Ares set. We showed that off, right?
We did show that off. There was another light blue turquoise tier 3 set, but that's it for the past 2 weeks. No clothing, no armor, just this.
And there's this multicolored set too.
Oh yeah, the paint. Yeah, show it. Go on.
Okay, let me pop that on.
So I know instantly not everybody's going to be happy with this. Everybody likes to moan about very colourful sets. So we do have this in the pipeline. And what is this called, Mr. Micro?
This is called the multicolored set.
And I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I don't think that's a shoo-in. But with the sheer lack of options, what else is there? So what do we even have? There aren't any options. Like, do you have any hoodie and pants that you can currently show off? Oh, well, I mean, that does go well with Glister. That's actually a good shout. Will we see some more version 2s? Because that could easily solve quite a lot of the problems. Because if the creators don't have any new ideas for skins, I mean, they could always go back to submissions that weren't accepted and offer some version 2s. Skull Killer Tier 3 was a version 2. And that proved to be very successful because now we've got clothing as well. But Skull Killer's going to finish soon because all it needs is tier 2. Low Poly just recently finished. That was a set that hasn't been super in demand. But with not much competition, it managed to squeeze in. And now you've got your charitable Rust clothing on. Looking very nice and sleek. So, again, if we don't see new things appear, you're going to see things like this. Now, I don't hate on it. It's just I know a lot of people are going to moan about it, and I know a lot of people are going to say, that doesn't fit Rust. How dare you accept that? So, loads of people like to moan, but if we don't see more options, this is going to continue being a problem. We have a drought. We need creators to fix it. So yeah. Do you have any more points to add to that, Mr. Micro?
Nope, that's perfectly said. I think with what we're seeing on the workshop right now, there's just not many choices. So you could view that in two ways. You could see it as an opportunity for Face Punch to maybe open the door for some other less commonly accepted items, like, items that we don't typically see skins for getting accepted. Maybe they'll go back and grab that Outer Planets fridge. I know you really loved to see that on the workshop. So maybe they have opportunity for stuff like that, a small box or something a little more uncommon. So there's that possibility. Or maybe we see one of these limited number of sets get accepted.
Well, I mean, I meant more in
many options there.
I meant more in terms of armor and clothing, Mr. Micro. I meant more in terms of that. This is what I'm worried about. The drought. The fridge drought is going to go on for longer. Apparently, we haven't had a fridge skin for 2 years. Outer Planets looked like it could have saved us, but yeah. But I'm talking more a case of.
I do know that there's some armor and clothing sets in the works. I won't talk about them publicly because the authors haven't released them yet, but I know a few things that are in the pipeline.
Okay.
But in terms of just the rhythm and timing of what exists on the workshop, we do have some things that got passed up.
Yes.
So a bit
Target
of
collection has come and gone.
Example.
Yes. So that was really weird. Target Collection did a version 2. They accepted the version 2 tier 2 armor. They passed on a version 2 tier 3 armor. And they said they didn't even accept the Target clothing this week. So it's really weird. Face Punch just doesn't seem to want anything new. But we're definitely grasping at straws for what can get or what can be finished. So yeah. This is a weird drought. The Great Drought. The Great Armor and Clothing Drought in Rust in the summer of 2022. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say. And as an investor, this is a problem because, as you know, normally the best investments that we get are usually the core pieces of the collections. Skullkiller, for instance, we started off with tier 3 armor, didn't we? And very recently this week we've just had the clothing appear. Now the tier 3 went up from about $1.30 and $2 all the way up to $5. Right now, Skullkiller tier 3 is $5. Reactionary nature of the Rust economy. Happens every single time another core piece appears in a collection. I'm talking clothing, tier 2 or tier 3, whatever order. So as long as one core piece already exists, when a new core piece appears, the pre-existing piece will spike up in price. Much like, as I said, with tier 3 Skullkiller and the appearance of Skullkiller clothing. So I need to see more clothing and armor being accepted. I need to see more possible profits. So yeah, that's that.